This frozen, heavily cratered world almost managed to have its own rings, a delicate system of debris that scientists once firmly believed encircled this distant moon, challenging everything we thought we knew about planetary orbits. To understand this cosmic mystery, we have to look far away, toward the outer darkness of our celestial neighborhood. The story begins centuries ago, with a world discovered in 1672 by Giovanni Domenico Cassini. This is Rhea. It stands out as the second largest moon of Saturn, and the ninth largest moon in the solar system. But its immense scale isn't the only thing that makes it so deeply compelling. The real enigma was what might be hiding in the space immediately surrounding this frozen sphere. As you approach it in the void, the distant sunlight struggles to illuminate the immense dark expanse. Yet, this world shines back vividly. Rhea's surface is highly cratered and reflective, a gleaming, scarred sphere that has endured countless impacts over billions of years. Before we uncover the mystery of what might orbit it, we must first consider its deep internal structure. The internal composition of any celestial body dictates its physical destiny, shaping how it interacts with the universe around it. Precise measurements reveal a world that is not entirely solid rock, unlike the inner planets we are so familiar with. Rhea has a density of about 1.23 grams per cubic centimeter, a number that reveals a very specific story about its interior. This specific density suggests a composition of about 25% rock and 75% water ice. It is, essentially, an enormous frozen body drifting endlessly in the dark, preserving the ancient materials of the early solar system. Imagine standing directly on that surface. You are surrounded by an alien, desolate landscape that is 75% water ice, stretching out as a highly cratered and reflective terrain under a black sky. It is a profoundly silent and hostile expanse. But why did astronomers, centuries after its discovery, become so completely obsessed with the empty space around it? The question remained, what was hiding in the immediate vicinity of this icy behemoth? For a very long time, the idea that a mere moon could possess its own rings seemed entirely impossible to observers. Rings were the domain of massive gas giants, not their smaller frozen companions. The gravitational forces in such complex systems were often considered far too chaotic and disruptive for delicate orbiting structures to survive around a moon. It was an unwritten rule of planetary science. But science is frequently forced to rewrite its own deeply held assumptions. The ultimate turning point for our understanding of this ninth largest moon in the solar system would require sending a robotic explorer to see it up close. That explorer was named in honor of the very man who first saw this world in the 17th century, the Cassini spacecraft. And the data it transmitted back to Earth would spark a genuine scientific uproar. The year was 2008. The Cassini spacecraft was carefully monitoring the harsh environment around the moon, collecting streams of invisible, complex information as it navigated the deep space around Saturn. It wasn't just taking simple photographs of the surface. The instruments detected something deeply anomalous. Specifically, the data showed symmetrical dips in energetic electron counts as the spacecraft passed by. Think about what that fundamentally implies. If energetic electrons are disappearing in a perfectly symmetrical pattern on both sides of the moon, it strongly suggests that something physical must be blocking them. Based entirely on these symmetrical dips in energetic electron counts, scientists hypothesized that Rhea had a tenuous ring system, a delicate disk of debris, quietly circling in the dark. A ringed moon. It was an absolutely staggering proposition. If true, this highly cratered and reflective world would be the very first moon ever known to host its own rings, defying all previous expectations. You can imagine the sheer excitement that rippled through the scientific community. The 2008 hypothesis promised to completely upend our understanding of how moons, rings, and orbital dynamics truly interact. But data from invisible particle detectors is only one part of the scientific puzzle. To truly confirm a ring system and rewrite the textbooks, you have to look for it visually, with optical instruments. The Cassini spacecraft was meticulously repositioned. It turned its powerful optical cameras away from the moon's surface and toward the surrounding space, ready to capture absolute history. Everyone on Earth waited anxiously for the visual proof. The high-resolution images began to download, transmitting pixel by pixel across millions of miles of empty space to eagerly watching scientists. But as the images finally cleared, expectation turned to complete shock. Subsequent visual observations by the Cassini spacecraft found absolutely no evidence of rings around Rhea. There was nothing there. The space where the magnificent ring should have been was entirely, unmistakably empty. The brilliant hypothesis that had captivated researchers was rapidly falling apart before their eyes. The very same robotic mission that had detected the intriguing symmetrical dips in energetic electron counts could not find a single visual trace of any orbiting dust or debris. The great mystery had reached its definitive, sobering conclusion. By the year 2010, the scientific consensus officially concluded that Rhea does not possess a ring system. The dream of the ringed moon was over. The frozen world that almost managed to have its own rings simply didn't, leaving only questions in its wake. Whatever mysterious mechanism caused those electron dips was not a ring system after all. The space around the moon was clear, finally answering the lingering question of what was hiding in its vicinity. We are left with the beautiful reality of what this world actually is. A stunning sphere with a density of about 1.23 grams per cubic centimeter, quietly and eternally orbiting in the cold. It may not have rings, but it remains a breathtaking monument in the dark. A highly reflective testament to the silent, enduring majesty of the outer solar system.
If you enjoy this content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. A quick tap on the like button also helps us learn what topics you like best. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next one.